Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here. And every once in a while, a story gets out there and it gets reported on, and even by the mainstream, in a, I don't know, wonder F, if you will, of misinformation and Johnny nonsense. And all of a sudden, a guy like Alex Jones has to step in and set the record straight. And I'm not joking about that. Alex Jones plays a part in this story. As you guys know, a lot of people believed that Joe Rogan had already been censored, right? He's already been censored by Spotify, Burmis. The proof is in the pudding. They didn't put up a bunch of his episodes, including the Jones episode. We knew this was going to happen. Now, Spotify may eventually censor in the future, but I had recently talked about and done videos on the fact that it was a good thing that there's competition, that people are starting to enter the arena. However, when Forbes, Fox News, all sorts of people started reporting yesterday that indeed the new Spotify library had been censored, right? I figured I had to do a video on it because my inbox was pouring in. There's a bunch of ads, Facebook, people telling me I need to do something on this. But the long and the short of it is, it's false. It's not true. You heard me. It's not true. That's right. Everything is going to be uploaded to Spotify, I believe, by January 21st. However, in this weird transition time, there is a larger issue that if you're a Joe Rogan fan or you're just an archivist and you want to have this stuff for history or dexterity's sake, not all of them, but a bunch of them will be purged from YouTube, I believe starting December 1st. So you got a couple months to scrape up, I think somewhere in the realm of 1,500 plus podcasts by Joe Rogan. So we're going to get into all of it. We're going to show you Alex Jones and what he has to say. And remember, Alex has, said some things about Joe, like, God and Jesus both told him to destroy Joe Rogan, which I was pretty critical of. Did some videos on those. And then, also said that he got this crazy call from Rogan and then ended up taking that down as well. So, take everything with a grain of salt, but we do it live here and we're going to show you the Alex Jones video. Hopefully it doesn't get taken off of YouTube, about what he said is happening with Rogan and the podcast. And like I said, I'm no fan of Microsoft, Spotify, etc., but more competition is better than no competition. Speaking of which, I just got hit up by one of these, multi-channel networks, MCNs, right? I forget which one it is, but I think it's the Air Video or something. Starts with an Air. And they say, in a form email that they can get me remonetized. I don't know. There are guys out there like, for instance, Gary Franchi, who is in an MCN, and they have him monetized. I don't know. What do you guys think? You think I should give it a shot and try to talk to these people and see if they can get my channel remonetized and I wouldn't be harmful content? And maybe once again, we could try to build the Burmis Brigade because we are so heavily censored. It's a tough call. But for now, we are demonetized for the last 5+ months. And $5, $10, $15, it means the world to me. It's how we do this multiple times a day. You can also support me on Rockfin. There's a couple exclusives on there as well this week. Thumbs the video up, subscribe, and share. And remember, I'm a documentary filmmaker, and all the documentary films are free right now in the playlist section. Now, for those that don't know, Rogan and Jones have had a relationship since the late 90s. They were basically, Joe was doing stuff in Austin, Texas for comedy. He was interested in Alex Jones's stuff. And they'd known each other for a while. Belly of the Beast DVD, you name it. So obviously Jones has been a huge draw on the podcast as well. And they have this relationship now. So while everybody yesterday was saying they censored, and even like Tommy Chong was being reported as being censored. And Tommy actually said something in the Twitter feed at Joe. Poor Tommy. I interviewed Tommy once. I know David Seaman of Fulcrum News was claiming he was the most censored man ever on the Joe Rogan podcast. But let's see what Alex Jones has to say.
But first off, had a lengthy discussion with Joe this morning, just a few minutes ago, because I had to call him in the middle of the night. Buzz, call. I get up at like 5 a.m., dozens of text messages and calls saying, is Spotify censoring the Joe Rogan podcast? And I didn't know until I talked to him this morning, and he explained it. They've got 1,500 plus files and then some migrating over, and they've had a few problems here and there with corrupted files, with the naming of them. And Spotify wants to have a first rollout and then a second rollout, and here's the key. Joe Rogan's favorite 100 episodes of the last 10 years or so will be left on YouTube starting December 31st when he goes exclusively to Spotify.
So let's stop that there. So there it is right there. December 31st is when it is exclusively on Spotify. And if there's only 100 episodes left and we're not even at 1,600 right now, that means the vast majority of these are actually going to be taken down. So now's the time to archive them. And say what you want about Rogan. There's a ton of great guests, a ton of great info. The one on Chaos and Manson, Annie Jacobson. I think the Joe Rogan podcast is excellent, actually. And I know it doesn't mean I agree with Joe on everything. I think he has his blind spots. I think some of the guests are more than full of enormous horse shit, if you will. But hey, it is entertaining. Let's let Jones wrap it up, huh? The gruff Mr. Jones.
For this couple month no man's land, the content will be on both platforms and will be migrating over. And so that's why the Alex Jones interview is not there. That's why some of the other interviews aren't there, because those are going to be the exclusive interviews that are left on YouTube, where in Joe's words, they'll probably get even more views than if they were on Spotify. So that's what's happening. And so I asked Joe, who's always been a straight shooter, point blank, I said, well, is Spotify censoring you? He said, absolutely not. What they're doing is trying to organize things right now, get this migration taken care of, and that I will obviously be on the podcast as well in the very, very near future. So I will be on, other guests will be on. Joe Rogan is in control of what goes on his show, and I'm just super excited about it.
So there you go. So, again, I don't think that Rogan would be doing this if he thought he was going to be censored. I think whether you agree with him or not, I'll say this. I liked it better when he was running it as a live stream, right? I see the problem with running it as a live stream as that people, while the show is going, are actually clipping it and then taking those clips and then uploading them to rogue channels. That is an issue. But the live stream aspect of it is perfect because you know that it's authentic. You know there's nothing edited. I get it. You get more opportunities when somebody needs to go to the bathroom and there's no dead air. But then you kind of have to improvise for 90 seconds or 3 minutes while somebody's gone. Or if something slips, something slips. There is no way to edit it out later. And that's why we do it live right here. We do it live. So guys, thumbs the video up, subscribe, and share. Remember, fully demonetized here, you support the program and not like crazy stuff where, Joe Rogan's already being censored. They've unlocked the WikiLeaks. Where is Ghislaine Maxwell's mugshot? They all feel like flavor of the day, flash, what's going on here, conspiracies that don't really pan out. And we like to do a little bit more research here. Wayfair was another one, right? Wayfair was just all over the place. And I asked somebody to debunk it before I said anything. I said, somebody please debunk this. And somebody sent me enough stuff that night that we did a video and we talked about it. Because we're here about the truth. It's truth over treason in this mother trucker. It's not about, placating to people or try to grift for an agenda, et cetera, et cetera. It's about telling people the truth. It's not about left or right. It's about right and wrong always. And guys, you can also support me over on rockfin.com. Remember, it's like a Netflix for creators. So if you pay $99 a month, you get all the premium content on top of the free content. You can make a free content profile right now. Because again, if I get kicked off of YouTube, this is where I'm going. It's over to Rockfin. And then you get all sorts of other great creators. And it's got the world of MMA, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It's not like YouTube. Okay? It's only like YouTube in the sense that you're getting a lot of great content from providers like Jimmy Dore, who are also on YouTube, and the Convo Couch, and Sam Tripoli. But it is wide open. And, like Jimmy Dore's Patreon, they usually get his entire show, right? You can watch the live stream live, but That's it. You can't pause it, and then there's a few clips of it. But this, you get all of it, right? It's very cool, and you don't have to be subscribed to Jimmy Dore and pay $9.99 for that either. It's $9.99, one shot for everybody. I love Rockfin. I think it's a great one. Thumbs the video up, subscribe, and share. Ring that bell. Remember, I am a documentary filmmaker, and now more than ever, Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined, and Shade the Motion Picture are so important to understanding what's going on during COVID 1984. But to even get there, the 9/11 anniversary is coming up, 19 years almost. Loose Change Final Cut and Fabled Enemies are going to tell you a way different story than what the mainstream has. Guys, thanks for joining me. I love you, and I'll see you on the flip side.